What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, Leopazzo Productions. Thank you very much for tuning in. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my favorite camera monitor so far in 2022. This is the Shimbol 600M. And guys, right off the bat, let me explain to you, this is not just a regular camera monitor. This camera monitor has a bunch of cool features. Let me just start with probably the most shocking or probably best feature about this camera monitor. This monitor, within the menu, you can set it to be a transmitter or a receiver if you're planning to use it with Shimbol's 600S wireless transmitter. So Shimbol has a wireless transmission system, the 600S, and Shimbol now just released the 600M, which is a monitor that's going to be able to work wirelessly with their wireless video transmission system. So today what I've done here is I set up the brand new camera monitor here by Shimbol, the 600M, on my Panasonic GH5 rig. I have set up right here with the V-mount battery, and I wanted to go through a few of the powering options that we have with this monitor, a few of the cool features that we have along the outside of the monitor, such as the HDMI in and along with the HDMI out. And I will mention, let's just start with the powering options here of this monitor, because I'm powering it right now via the DC in. So the DC in allows from 7 volts to 17 volts, which is a nice range. So I've took the option here of powering the monitor with my V-mount battery. So I'm just simply using a D-tap cable, which I have right over here plugged into the side of the V-mount battery. And that is actually supplying 14.9 volts to the camera monitor, which it is within the range that the monitor accepts. So I've just decided to go that route right there via the V-mount battery. I will mention that we do have, as I turn around the monitor, we do have 2 slots over here for the Sony NPF batteries. So this monitor can also be powered with NPF batteries, and there are 2 slots. And I thought at first, I'm like, well, I don't really want to use 2 NPF batteries. That just means I'm going to be using more batteries. But what I learned is that when I installed both batteries, yes, the camera monitor obviously worked and powered on, and I was using it like that. But then what I wanted to try is by simply removing one of those batteries to see if the monitor still works. And you got it. The monitor still works with only 1 NPF battery installed. So to me, I find that also a really nice feature, because now I have basically 2 batteries on the back of it if I need 2 NPF batteries, and if one dies, it's just going to take the juice from the other battery and then I can hot swap it. So to me, that's just a fantastic feature that we have multiple options of powering this monitor. I'm a big fan of the V-mount battery, so I'm just going to go ahead and go that route via the DC at the side. But again, if I need to on backup, NPF battery is also going to be the way to go. So now that we've learned about how we're going to be able to possibly power this monitor, why don't we learn on how we can actually take some of that power via the DC out. So that is another feature that I look into when I'm purchasing a brand new monitor. I want to know if it has a few of these features that I'm looking for, and having a DC out option is actually really nice. So the DC out on this monitor is located here at the bottom, and it's going to supply a maximum of 7.4 volts DC out. So we can possibly even power your Tilta nucleus Nano wireless control focus motor that can accept a wide range from, I believe, 5 volts all the way up to 18 volts. So the 7.4 volts coming from the DC out from this monitor will be a great option. So now that we are familiar with the HDMI in, HDMI out, the DC in, the DC out, we can power the monitor. Next, over here on the side, we also do have the headphone output jack, which is a 3.5 headphone jack. We can just simply monitor the audio directly from the monitor, which is a nice feature. So we've covered everything over here onto the side. We looked briefly over here onto the back at the NPF battery slots. I will mention it does have the typical little locking mechanism for the batteries, so they're not going to pop out. They are in there nice and secure. As I turn the monitor around, still here at the top of the monitor, you will notice that there are a few buttons. So starting over here on my side, over here closer to me, it is the power on and off button. So if you just hold it down for 3 seconds, it's going to go ahead and power on the unit or turn it off. If we look over here onto the right hand side of the monitor towards the top, we do have 3 custom function buttons that we can go through the menu and select what functions that we want to program for those function buttons. So we do have 3 of them. I've already taken advantage of that by simply programming a function 1 to, I believe, waveform. Function 2 is going to be like aspect ratio kind of crop, so it can kind of give me like an idea of like having the black cinema bars. So that's just going to outline it in like a red. And I believe option number 3, function number 3, I programmed it so I can pinch to zoom. I can zoom in to see if I'm in focus or not. So that's a nice feature that we can just simply program the custom function buttons to whatever we like to use out of the settings and features that this monitor has. So as for mounting the monitor, I will say that this monitor only has 1/4 inch thread, which is located at the bottom of the monitor. There is no 1/4 inch thread that you may see in some other monitors at the side. This monitor only has the 1/4 inch thread. So that 1/4 inch at the bottom is a great mounting option, pretty universal, general. It's going to work for me. As you see, I have it mounted over here and positioned nicely on my rig. So at the side of the unit over here, you're going to notice that we have a USB-C port, and this USB-C port, from my understanding, is going to allow for firmware updates, if I'm not mistaken. So right above the USB-C port over here at the side of the monitor, we do have a slot for a TF memory card. I'm not really too familiar with TF memory cards, but I will tell you that the TF memory card 32 gig is included and was installed on the monitor when I got it inside the box. So it's a Kingston 32 gig TF memory card. So that's another real cool thing about this monitor, as I mentioned about this TF card, is the fact that we're going to be able to actually press record on the monitor, and it's going to record what we are filming directly to that TF card. As for the construction, it feels like it's made out of metal, a good portion of it. It does also feel like, I think there's some ABS plastic on the back, but overall the design construction, it does feel pretty nice in my hands. It feels durable. I will mention about the nits, the brightness. This monitor is 1000 nits brightness, and it is 1200 contrast ratio. Product weight 300 grams, so as I mentioned, it doesn't weigh that much. A 5.5 inch screen. This teleprompter file format, so I believe we can actually use this monitor for an example as a teleprompter, because we can literally load the file on the TF card, and then we just plug in the TF card, and now I guess just open it up on the monitor, and the monitor is going to display for us what we need to, I guess, read off as a teleprompter. It fully says teleprompter file format, text, TXT. There is no sunshade sunscreen included in the kit. It's literally, I don't recall one being inside. Yeah, it's literally just the monitor itself. There's no batteries, there's no cables. You have the monitor and the TF card. So first things first, let's go ahead. I'm gonna power on the camera. I'm gonna go ahead and power on the monitor by just simply holding down the power button for about 3 seconds. We got the nice Shimbol logo displayed over here. So currently I have the monitor set as being the transmitter. So I'm basically sending whatever I'm filming from my monitor to a receiver. And where do I have that receiver currently installed right now? I have the receiver right there at the bottom of my TV. I have the receiver being powered into the wall, and it's just being powered via the USB-C port on the Shimbol 600S wireless receiver, and I have it HDMI out from the receiver going to my TV. That reminds me about the latency about this monitor. This monitor has 80 milliseconds of latency. That is what it says in the manual. So we're gonna see what the latency looks like by eye. I'm not gonna do no kind of technical test, but we can do a quick little test with the latency. For the most part, as it stands right now, if you use it as a standalone monitor, there is no latency. It's only when you're doing that wireless stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. Receiver's powered on. It's already plugged in HDMI. Let's see how it goes. Shimbol, yep, it's looking good. Got it loading up there onto the TV. And bang, there we go. So that took about maybe 5-10 seconds, whatever it took. It loaded on its own. I didn't really do nothing. I had this set up previously. Here we go. We got the image right over there onto the screen. And here I am filming with my GH5. I can go ahead and zoom in You guys can see me zooming in. I can adjust the focus. So it's just a nice cool feature to have a wireless monitor that can act as a transmitter and also be able to act as a receiver. So now that you guys hopefully understand how this setup is working, I'm going to basically give you guys an example on how you can use this as a receiver. So we can just literally take this camera monitor off this camera rig, and in that case I'm gonna have to set up the Shimbol 600S transmitter. If I connect the 600S transmitter to this rig, that's going to allow me to send that signal to this monitor wirelessly. So I just get this monitor, power it on somehow, and now I'm going to be able to watch it right there onto the monitor. And I can also be able to connect it to the Shimbol app. So if you are not familiar with the Shimbol app, I've actually installed it on my phone, and you literally just connect to it. I believe you just scan the QR code, whatever it is, you connect to it, and you're going to be able to view also what you are filming with the Shimbol app. So you can use the Shimbol app along with any kind of combination, depending if you're using this as a transmitter, if you're using it as a receiver. Why don't I just do like a little half-assed latency test so you guys can see maybe a little bit of the latency. So let me just readjust the focus now that I moved the camera a bit. Okay, so that's like that. So my hands are gonna be out of focus right here. You can see that my hands are out of focus, but I believe you can see when I go ahead and close my hand and when it actually closes on the TV. So the latency does look very minimal. Again, we're only about maybe 8 feet away from each other. There's not really much interference, I don't think, but we're gonna see what it's capable of doing. I'm gonna let you guys have this view here. As I mentioned, I'm gonna take my GH5 off the tripod and we're gonna go for a little cruise. Make sure we're at 50 mil, as wide as we can go, and we'll be back. You let me know, all right? Let's do this. You guys get the general idea. You can see that I have it there onto the TV, and I got my Z cam over here just filming me, and I'm holding my GH5 and I'm just going back and forth. I'm gonna show you the 600S right over here. There's the 600S. That's the wireless receiver by Shimbol. I'm just powering it via the USB-C from the wall and HDMI to the TV. Oh yeah. Let me zoom back out. You guys get the idea, man. This is actually really cool. I see very minimal delay. I'm happy with this bad boy. So let's do, as I said, I'm gonna go upstairs. I don't wanna make this video too long. Let's see how everything is going. So I'm still walking up. I'm walking upstairs. I'm walking upstairs. This is my dining room. This is my nice little chandelier. Let's go all the way to the window. So here I am by the window. Way too bright. Adjust my exposure. That's what it looks like outside. All right, let's see what's next. You know what? I'm gonna go outside. Let's put my shoes on. I'm gonna take this bad boy outside. Alright guys, so here we are outdoors, and you can see that the video signal transmission has frozen between the monitor and the receiver. Going back inside. So I'm back inside now, just adjusting my aperture. We are back inside, guys. We are back inside. Here we are. I just went outside. I'm not sure if it cut out or not. We went through some brick walls. We went through some drywall walls, but let's go downstairs. I'm going to review the footage when I go and edit the video. You guys let me know in the comment section down below if you guys think you guys are impressed with that or not. Did it cut out? It's still going. No disconnecting and not reconnecting. If it did, here we are, man. We're looking pretty good. Let's put this bad boy back on the tripod. This is a real test, bro. This is a real test. This is what it is. I'm curious to know how it's going to perform before I take it out in the real world, right? I want to know how it's going to perform. Alright guys, this is the game plan. We're going to quickly have a look at the Shimbol 600M menu and features and settings that we have here on the monitor. I'm going to make a more detailed video specifically about the menu, so stay tuned for that. Right now we're literally just going to kind of skim through it just to give you an idea on what we have here for options within the menu. Starting off over here on the bottom of the screen, we have a bunch of icons to select, along with over here on the right hand side is the menu. So these are just the quick options over here that we're going to go through right now. And this is the input source menu, such as input, we got wireless, we got channel. We're going to go to the next one, which is the scope menu. We can activate the waveform, the histogram, the vector scope, and we can simply just toggle those off if we need to. And we go to the next option over here, which is the marker menu. So we have marker, safe area, anamorphic, and center marker. As the next one, we have peaking and zoom. So those are two nice features that I enjoy using as well. We have zebra and false color and monochrome. So here's a quick example of the false color being activated, and we can adjust some of these settings in more detail. We have the next color menu right over here that we can load our own custom LUTs, and we can change the gamma, the 2.2 or the 2.6, 2.4, and HDR mode. We can also turn that on if we need to. If you're going to be filming in HDR, and color temp you can adjust as well. If we go to the next menu, which is the teleprompter menu, this is the font color and the font size, along with the selection that you're going to be able to pick through from the TF card. Once you've loaded it to the TF card, you're going to be able to select that text that you're going to plan to use with your teleprompter, and you're going to be able to press play, adjust the latency, etc. And here we have a great feature, which is the recording option. So this monitor is going to be able to record directly to the TF card, and that's where we're going to be able to record or play back some of those video files. As you see, I have a bunch of files over here that I've filmed previously. Here's a quick example. Let's just play one for you guys. So this is a video file, 12 seconds long. You can see I'm just moving around the camera, same kind of setup over here, zooming in, and bang, away you go. The video file is done playing, and that quality looks fantastic. So I'm just going to exit that right over there. So that as far as the recording and playback briefly goes. And we have the option here to get away all of those icons and just have a nice clean cut screen if you press the lock button. So let's go ahead and unlock it, and let's briefly have a look at the menu option over here, the bottom right hand side. So we have display. We can adjust the display brightness, contrast, etc. We have the settings such as the volume and the brightness of the monitor. So if you need to adjust the brightness, you can go ahead and do that. This is an important feature right over here, DC out. So if you want the DC out to work on this monitor, you're going to need to go ahead and turn it on. If you don't turn on this setting, your DC out will not be active and will have no power. As for function, this is where we can program the 3 custom function buttons. Let's just click on one. You can see all of the options that we have here to pick through. Let's go ahead to system. This is going to tell us a bunch of information about our monitor. Let's click on version information so we can see the current version that I'm currently using right now, and we can update if we need, factory reset. And this is another important feature right here, wireless mode. So we can change this monitor from a TX, which I'm currently using right now, or we can switch it to an RX right over there into this menu. So if we're done with that, we pretty much went through the menu pretty briefly. Hopefully you guys learned something along the way, because I think we pretty much wrapped up the video for the most part. I don't want to make the video too long. I wanted to make it as educational and informative as much as possible. I wanted to give you guys all the answers. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Much love. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Peace.